if anything, Nvidia's looking a little bit more bouncy, and I'm already in the long side here. So my calls ought to be up nice. I got a good entry down here on these calls. So they ought to be up pretty good. We'll see. We're at 187. Here we go, getting ready. If you're going to pull the trigger on the calls, though, don't wait. If you're going to do it quick. Netflix looks really weak, though. But if you're going to do it, I mean, don't wait and pull the trigger on the calls at 280. Your chance will be done, right? It's one of the two. I'm still holding my puts from SQ. I'm still holding my puts from Nvidia. I'm still holding my puts from Netflix. I still have all my pieces of my puts left over from yesterday. All right, so I'm already short this market. All right, I'm gonna do a quick recap. Like you see from the live action, I still had my positions left over from yesterday, so I still had some of the puts. And like I keep saying from video after video, the one before that I showed you where I held my puts and they came back, right? They bounced and it retraced the day. So holding a piece didn't work so much that day. Well, they actually came back the next day and came back and made me money. And that's the nice thing about options. But this here, I sold, got some of my best sells down into this wash. I hung on to a piece this morning. On the puts on this side, I hung onto a piece and they weren't working, so I just went ahead and took them, but it was still profits. I was short from way up here. My average was still way up here. So they were still nice and green. I just didn't capture as much of the gains as I could, but I was down to small size on that. Like you saw from the live videos, anyway, I had bought these calls down here yesterday. It hit my target. 180 was my target. It hit. I ended up buying calls. They were up nice this morning already. They were up nice. So I was looking at selling some here and then selling at 198 and 200 were my targets. And I didn't even make it that far. I just ended up getting all out before all this move, but still did really well. But I didn't catch any of this move right here, which I broke a rule there because I usually hold a piece just like I did on the downside. But it's just really tough in this market right now. I'm not convinced. You know, every bounce is getting stuffed. So I'm not putting much faith on the long side. So I still feel I'm okay with it. You know, let it prove that it's going to continue. So I'm not too hurt about missing this move. I'm not too hurt about not holding on to it. In my mind, it was the right thing to do. I just don't trust the long side. But I mean, systematically, and the way it's designed is to hold a piece. You know, take the profits and hold a piece. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This time it would have worked, but I used a little discretion today and said, nope, I just don't trust the long side. And Netflix. So the puts that I had left over on this, and like you see from the live trading, people were talking about getting long Netflix, and it was a great trade. I didn't pull the trigger on the calls at all. Again, I don't trust the long side, so I just didn't touch the calls. Would have been a nice trade right here. But what I did do well here is when it cracked and hit this 270, boom, I sold the rest of my puts left over from this, and I got all out of my put position, which I'm really happy with because this was still up very nice. These were up very nice, even with the small size that I had. So just by locking in those two right there, I had a big fat day and I don't even have to touch anything else. But I did. I had SQ because it hit my target yesterday after the sell-off. I bought the calls here on this one too, and there's no plan to even sell them. I didn't even touch any of the calls. What I did was I had the 70 puts left over that were still nice in the money, and when they fell apart this morning, I got rid of the puts, and then as it reclaimed, it looked like it was kind of setting up for the long. I went ahead and got rid of the rest of my puts and locked in all my gains on the 70 puts. So I'm still long this stock here, and I held this one because this is one of my favorites, and I'll, without giving out too much, just take up a monthly and a weekly chart, take a look at the long-term chart. So SQ is one of my favorites. In the case of a bounce, I think we can retest 100 here in the next week or two, if we get a good bounce. And if not, that's fine. We'll get short again. So anyway, that was my day. Have a good one. Peace.